Hey y'all, hope you all doing good. Comrades out there, you're being healthy and strong and living your best lives and whatnot. I am not, because I played SWAT 2, which is a pile of shit. So let's get into it. This is the follow-up to Police Quest 5, SWAT 1. It is now just SWAT 2. And what's that meme with Thanos where he's like, perhaps I have judged you too harshly or whatever? Like, I played SWAT 1, and it's not as much a game as like an interactive fiction, and I don't think I was that harsh on it, to be honest. But however harsh I was on that, I was too harsh, because SWAT 2 is shit. It is so garbage. Like, fuck this game, man. So we start off and we run into our friendly police guy who's been like the ex-police chief or whatever, is part of all these games. And then we get to choose if we want to be the terrorist mission and the SWAT mission, right? So this is like kind of a more traditional like real-time strategy game, if you will, with like a squad, right? But it's not like Robin Hood or Jagged Alliance or anything, because it is impossible to control these characters. Mostly because there is no explanation about what anything does. And I pulled up the fucking manual and like read through that shit, because I started playing levels and like immediately I like lost. And I was like, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong here. Because in like the first level of the terrorist mission, I even pulled up a guide, and that guy didn't explain too much either. It was like, hey, go into this area and then like, you know, grab the kids and rescue them and take them out. And I would walk up to kids and I would hit the button that like the manual is like, hey, this is what allows you to grab people up as terrorists, and it would do nothing. And the kids would just like make some commentary, and I'd be like, okay, try again, try something else. I tried like every button, nothing worked. And then the SWAT shows up in force, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, I'll just fight them. And so I'm like behind cover shooting at them, and all my guys die. And I was like, fuck this game, like what in the fuck, man. And it was just like insane. And SWAT wasn't any easier. It's not like the terrorist mission is like the harder mission, because they're just random like left-wing terrorists, which is based. But and the terrorist mission, the terrorist campaign is actually more interesting story-wise. The SWAT campaign is just like, oh, let's do another SWAT mission. It's kind of like SWAT 1. It's just like none of this stuff's connected. None of it matters. It like hints at a bigger storyline going on in the background, which the terrorist mission is like talking about. But SWAT's just like, oh, there's a bank robbery. Go take care of that. And you're like, cool, sounds good. And there's virtually like no story to it. Anyway, excuse me. Despite all this bullshit, I was trying to play through the game, and I got to like level 5 or 6 in the terrorist mission side, and then I was just like, I just could not beat the game, because it's like you're supposed to take a kid to like a hospital, and I'll get to that in a second. So I go in there and I like find a doctor, like it asks, and it's like, okay, tell the doctor like heal the kid, and like that option was not available. And so I tried pressing every button on the doctor, on the kid, on the terrorist. I like retried the level like 2 or 3 times, and it finally, I was just like, fuck this game, I'm done. And then I was like, is there any way to cheat? And there's not. Okay, there is one cheat. The cheat is to unlock all the missions so that I can just watch the stories at the beginning of each level, which is, and then like start the level, because sometimes you get a little more like lore in there. But in that, there's not really a story. So let's see. Roll in. Okay. Okay. So I made a list of how shitty this game is and why. And I'm going to do that, and then we'll cover the story, and that'll be our guide for our review of this fucking game. Let's see. Oh yeah, and then when I tried to, I was like, okay, well maybe I'm wrong about the terrorist mission. Let me try the SWAT mission. So I played the first level of the SWAT mission, and it's like, hey, there's going to be a guy pretending to be a hostage and a guy pretending to be like a terrorist. So you're just going to go in there and practice like cuffing him and arresting him and not hurting the hostage. And I'm like, okay. And it's like, just be very meticulous and go through each room very carefully and slowly. And I'm like, got it. So I start the level, and I like walk in very slowly, and I find somebody, and I like put handcuffs on him, and then the game is like and then the game's like levels over. And I was like, oh, was that the hostage? And it's like, you failed. And I was like, what? And it was like the hostage got taken by the terrorist away from here to somewhere else. And I was like, all right, I'm done with this fucking shit. Like, fuck you, game. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, like I did exactly what you told me to do, and then you like failed me. And it's not even like you fail. You're just like, okay, you failed. You can go on the next level. Like, no, fuck you, game. I'm not gonna play any more of this bullshit. Like, I'm tired of this. I played like 7 levels of this, and every level was like a headache that didn't make sense, and there was no explanation about anything, and nothing worked the way you said it was gonna work, and like the manual was unhelpful, and you're unhelpful, and the guide was unhelpful. Like, fuck you, game. So here's my list. Okay. So these are the way in which the game is completely terrible. The manual is unhelpful. It tells you to do things that don't actually work inside the game. All the objectives are vague. Like there's like you get this crazy story that's like, oh hey, maybe you need to get inside that bank and do something, and you're like, cool, sounds good. And you're like, and then you just start off, and you're like, where's the bank? And you're like, no idea. So you got to look around, and then you start getting shot at, and your guys get like killed immediately. And it's like, okay, fuck you. So first of all, and this is a strategy game where you have units. There's no fucking Overwatch. There's no reactionary fire. It's no like, hey, sit your guy there, respond to attacks. No, you have to click on every little guy and tell them all. Like you can move people as a unit, but then you can't fire as a unit. Like fuck you, game. Like what the fuck is this all about? Like garbage piece of shit, man. Anyway, so that's the first thing, and then let's see, click thoroughly, guys. your abilities like don't fucking work. You have to equip like fucking items during the gameplay, which is like insane. Like why aren't your guys just equipped with this shit? And sometimes they are, and sometimes they're not. There's no saving during the mission. And like again, it's like you'll just be standing there, and all of a sudden it's like your guy's dead, and I'm like I don't even see these SWAT guys, or like they're behind like a tree, and so you can't see them or whatever, and it's like fuck you, game. So if you fail, like if you get through like the whole mission like very meticulously, like figure this out, then you get to the very end of the mission, you just lose, or people just die, and it's just like oh fuck yourself, you just do this all over from the beginning. The gameplay is absolutely horrendous. It's just so terrible. Like there was not one redeeming quality about this thing, except the terrorist mission was kind of funny. So we're just going to talk about that. So the terrorist mission stars our friend Basho. Basho is the leader of the Five Eyes movement, which is a left-wing terrorist group, as I said before. And their whole mission is like the 5 E's. They're all about environment, ecstasy, I don't understand, education, equality, electricity. And they're selling themselves as like, we got to like rise up the people or whatever. But this guy's just like a terrorist asshole who just like wants to make his money and get the fuck out of there, right? And he's always doing like crazy nonsense. And then there's the other guy, Dante, who is like the same actor as the police guy from like the first game, SWAT 1. And so that was funny because it's the same voice, and I just played that game, so I was like, oh, that's fun. Okay, so he tells us we're going to get some training and how we're going to use surgical strikes to like cause mayhem or like to execute on like the 5 E's or whatever. So we send some dudes for training, and then we start the practice mission. And then once we just kill out the guys, the mission ends. So next up, we're told that we're going to hit a trailer during another training mission. So while we're on the training mission, the SWAT show up and interrupt for, I don't know, we're not even doing anything illegal, just like in some compound wandering around. And so we have to grab hostages and make an escape. And this is the part where I was like unable to grab the kids. I grabbed like 1 out of like the 5, and the game was like very disappointed. Next up, we need to go steal a bunch of armories. We need to go steal a bunch of arms and stuff from a gangster armory. So we're going to take all their stuff. SWAT shows up, and we just get the fuck out of there. Then some of our group is like selling weed on the streets, and we are not okay with that. So we go to like bust them up because they're doing things in the name of the 5 Eyes, but that's not okay. So we bust them up, and then SWAT shows up, obviously. So we got to grab some hostages and flee. And then during the mission, not like while I was playing, but according to the story, there was one of the kids was injured, and so Dante, who's like the leader on the ground, wants to take her to the ER so she can get better. And Basho is like, no. He's like, I want to use the 5 Eye principles of like just having faith that she'll get better, or she'll die for a cause or whatever. And Dante's like, hell no, take her to the hospital. Let's go. So we go try to take, and then you get a doctor to help her, and then escape because the SWAT shows up to like kill you. Like it becomes a hostage situation. You have to like trick SWAT into like giving you a car so you can escape out of there. And now Basho's like super mad because we didn't listen to him, and he's like the king priest or whatever. So he wants to send us on a mission so that we can like redeem ourselves. Holy shit! There's like a dump truck tried to roll me off the road. Since we were so disobedient or whatnot, so he will send us on a hard mission where we can focus. And so we're going to go, the focus is on this Tammany corporation, which is causing some environmental problems. And this is the mission where we finally start getting into like the 5 Eyes or whatever, or the 5 E's. So we go and we kidnap Tammany and then hold him in a desert retreat. That's the plan. So we head to like his home in like suburbia, grab him. They get the ransom request, and then we also send them a tape of him confessing his crimes that we want to take to the news. So the first level in this like little era is we go to suburbia, we kidnap him, then we're in like this desert compound, and then his lawyer comes, but he brought like his SWAT friends, so we got to grab the tape, and then we trade him the $100,000 for the guy, and so now we have $100,000, and then we will go to a TV station so that we can air the tape, which somehow has to do with like electricity. Right? I guess we're taking back electricity, and then The next step is equality. So we have to attack a white supremacist group that is dealing in drugs. And then Basho gets like real caught up and angry about this or whatever, but he's able to like, this is the first time he showed like any emotions whatsoever. So he finally able to calm himself down after that. And so we go take care of that. And then we learn that the media coverage we put out about the Tammany guy confessing to environmental issues it was like very positively received by like the people. So now we head to like a college campus to try to recruit the young and impressionable onto our side. And we're like told no violence, which is a nice change of pace. And then after that, we get a message from Dante instead of Basho, which is very unusual. And he states that some of the college kids have gotten more agitated and are willing to join. After that, Basho wants us to spread the word of the Five Eyes. So he rambles a bit about Los Angeles and how it's a hellhole, which is, he's not wrong. But it's a new manifest. And we need to go get it printed in the local newspaper. So we get that, and then the message of the Five Eyes gets spread more and more and more. And now he wants to attack a convoy to rescue a prisoner that is a member of the Five Eyes, or that, he wants picked up. So we take care of that, and then afterwards we're chilling at our headquarters in Topanga Canyon. And if you're not from like the LA area, Topanga Canyon is like, if you're headed towards like Malibu, it's like country homes like in the valleys and stuff. It gets burned up pretty often, I want to say, because they don't... California doesn't understand like basic forestry principles that like native people have used in this country for like thousands of years, but they're smarter than them, so whatever. Let's see. So, and we get attacked by SWAT, so we fight them off, and then Basho and Dante argue about who's to blame. Why does SWAT keep showing up? Like, how do they know what's going on? Like, there seems to be a mole in the whole program, or whatever. And then Basho, and so Basho needs to escape, and Dante and the rest of us will defend the headquarters so that he can get out of there. And then after escaping that, Dante confronts Basho, who's trying to flee like the country at LAX. And we find out that Basho was the one who kept calling the SWAT because he's an asshole, and because he wanted to like test the resolve or the strength of like the people of the Five Eyes or whatever. And he claims it's like a tough love situation or whatever. He then talks to Dante about how like he had a son and he was weak and that he was lost to drugs, and this whole thing is like some crazy lunatic thing that Bosch was doing, right? It's not just like regular left-wing terrorism, it's like personal left-wing terrorism. And that even that it's like, Dante, you can confront me if you want, but the SWAT are already coming because I told them you're here to like plant a bomb and they're going to blame everything on you and stuff. And he's enjoy living on the higher plane. And so he laughs. And so we fight through SWAT, and then we fight to like the plane that he's trying to take off, and then we kill Basho. And that's the end of the terrorist missions. Now for the SWAT missions, as I mentioned, they're more just kind of like random bullshit or whatever. So the first level is a training mission, which I failed. And then the next mission is another training mission about clearing a warehouse, where I also failed because I got killed. But in this one, you learn about helicopters and stuff. Next up, we get like our first real mission, which is a domestic violence call in suburbia. And something about like a criminal defense lawyer in Pasadena who shoots his wife, or shoots up the place and shoots at his wife, who runs out and calls us. And then we have to go in there and subdue him and rescue like a 4-year-old as well. Next, there's a gas station, mini mart, that some thugs go to take over. Then it's a bank robbery in Burbank where there's some hostages. We have to negotiate and do all that stuff. And that's one of the fun things, I guess, if you get the fucking game to work, is that you can negotiate with the terrorists. You can, because that's one of the things like SWAT does, is they do negotiations trying to get hostages safe, and then the sniper stuff and all that stuff. After that, we get some like schizophrenic at an airport with a sniper rifle, just like firing at planes or whatever. And it's pretty funny because this like cleaning lady, who's like a ditzy 90s chick, is just like, what are you doing? Oh man. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Then we have to deliver a high-risk warrant delivery, which is something else I guess SWAT does. High risk is like people who are likely to fight back or whatnot. And this one is related to the convenience store thing, because it's the guy who owned the vehicle that was used in the robbery. And this takes us to like the Topanga Canyon compound, which is not the story of the terrorists, so don't worry, they're not related. And I'm like, oh hey, it's a Five Eyes training camp. But again, it's just they just reused maps. It has nothing to do with it. And then they talk about there's kids here and stuff. So after we take care of that, we get a scene of a guy with a bomb blowing himself up, blowing himself up in like a gas area or whatever. Anyway, so we go to the trailer park. And let's see, we find, and some paramedics go out there, but then they get like taken hostage, or they get shot at, and we're there to like remedy the issue. Next, there's a riot in the Northbridge area, which is like where a big mall is, and people are fed up with police violence and injustice and all that. And so we see two guys are excited about what they've started, and they talk creepily about it and then drive off. And this gets compared to the 1992 riots, which are the Rodney King riots. If you're not old like me, you might not know about that. It's like this: the police like beat up a guy named Rodney King in like downtown LA or whatever, and people like recorded it like back in the day. This is like before cell phones and stuff, obviously. And then everyone saw it, and it's kind of like they tried to like reenact that with the George Floyd thing, but like the Rodney King thing is pretty different, to be completely honest. But history is a circle, so things are just gonna. You think that's not gonna happen again? It's definitely gonna happen again. Let's see. Following it, we get another call from the suburbs right after the riots. We find that a couple of guys who kind of like set up the riots or whatever, and they're stationed in someone's home. And there's like a domestic violence situation, and so we go out to take care of that. Later on, we see a guy named Philip Reston. He goes to see like a lawyer named Finch at like this crazy looking building thing. And so he takes a bunch of people hostage there, and we find out that the law firm serves government contracts or something, and this guy is like anti-government or whatever. And then we got the call from the security guards, so then we have to like go in there and like wander around and find this guy and take him out and stuff. Last level is there's like a mayoral speech for like an election or whatever, and then we get like the opening cinematic is like a sniper looking over everything. So we got to go protect the mayor, save him, stop the sniper, the assassination attempt, and whatnot. Oh no, that was the second to last mission. The last mission is that the chief of police is like talking to the news about like the mayoral stuff and about kind of the increase in like left-wing terrorism or whatever. And then the police station gets attacked, like the metro station, I think is what it is. And so we have to like protect the chief of police and beat back the terrorists or whatever. And once you do that, that's the end of the campaign. So if you can't tell by my tone of voice and my more matter-of-fact nature, I did not enjoy this game. The story was a thing that existed. And I hope SWAT 3, which I've heard is much better, can redeem this series somewhat, because thus far it's been pretty downhill since Police Quest 3. Police Quest 1 through 3 are definitely like thumbs up, point and click adventure games that do some like funny police stuff, which can be like annoying, but also is kind of endearing, like a fun kind of way. And then SWAT 1 is more, it's like an encyclopedia, it's like, you could get like these things like the Encyclopedia Britannica for kids or whatever back in like old computers, and you would like click on things and you'd have like a little animation and it would like tell you stuff about stuff. That's literally what SWAT 1 is about. And it's got like a tiny little bit of gameplay somewhat, but it's more so just like, hey, here's a bunch of stuff about SWAT you can read about and watch videos of interviews. You want to see what it's like by clicking like 3 or 4 times? Sure, let's go do that. And you're like, awesome. And then it's like very easy to fail, which is annoying. It should just be like, no fail, just do this. And then you can see like cute little like full motion video clips. SWAT 2 is hot garbage, and like Police Quest 4 was not good. It was kind of boring and confusing, to be completely honest. And the story was just kind of like, there was a lot of jibber jabber that was completely unnecessary in that, which kind of like really threw me off. All right. Anyway, next up we're playing Chained Echoes, which is 1,000 times better. So you can join me for that next week, or come back in a couple weeks for SWAT 3, and I will catch you guys later.